So, you have worked as artistic director and dramaturge at the Maxim Gorki Theatre in Berlin for the past 7 years. The Gorki Theatre has a very special place in the German theatre landscape as the first theatre that became a mean for expression in Germany for diversity and people with a migration background. How does theatre practice there differ from work in a normal German state or city theatre?
To become a theatre that is able to represent and address a new reality, and we call it a new reality, the diverse reality of a city like Berlin, and we are a theatre for the city of Berlin, paid by the citizens of Berlin. We had to change the way of working because there was a glass ceiling before for people who didn't have like the right family names or didn't identify in a very straight, accepted way. So what we worked on, if it comes to an artistic level, is we changed our practice of how we come to a premiere. Before, I came from a tradition of commissioning plays and setting up productions. What we developed at the Gorki is devised work. We call it devised work. It's you curate a project and you try to work in a different way, more cooperative, more open-minded, open doors, so that new experiences and new realities can enter into the rehearsal space. And this transformed writing for theater, acting, and performing the theater that we do on our stage. And this takes a lot of more resources. So it's a decision to use a conservative structure for a progressive content, not only in the words, but in the way of working as well. So that's a structural decision that was taken. And then we had to conquer and build a new audience. So it's not only about artists, different actors, playwrights, directors, stuff behind stage that is more diverse, but we wanted to create a new, more diverse audience as well. And that happened too. And that's the new thing about that came into reality of the German theater with the Gorki in Berlin.
You work with the Munich Festival for Young Directors, Radical Young. What distinguishes this festival and which other events in Germany are particularly interesting for young international theater professionals?
The festival Radical Jung was founded by a young director. So it is originally addressed to young directors and their productions. And it had two ideas that it wanted to fulfill. And this is open the doors to the theater machinery, to the big state theaters for young artists. That's the one question, or the one task. And the second one is to bring artists together with the audience to discuss new ways of working, new working methods, new ways of directing, new ways of writing, maybe in a more cooperative, collective way, and therefore have an exchange among artists, but with the audience as well, about new aesthetic forms. So there as well, a lot of projects made it into a more conservative and conventional theater world over the last 2 decades with that festival. And that's where it is heading to in the future as well, to keep the doors open for new talents, but for new thoughts and for new ways of working as well. And one thing we have in mind is to continue its tradition of opening up internationally as well, because it is originally a festival for Germany, Austria, Switzerland, productions of German language, but it is one of the precious traditions to get into an exchange with other theater worlds of the European continent as well, so that it has become a more transnational and translocal exchange of politics and arts and politics.
About yourself and your work, which projects are you currently working on? Do they include international collaborations?
I'm working much more now again as a free dramaturge. So besides working for the Festival Radical Jung for new and young voices in the theater world, I'm working with two directors, writers for this season, for this year, which is, on one hand, it is Richter. We're working on a project for the World Pride in Copenhagen. So it's dealing with queer history and queer realities, and how a theater production can represent and empower this community and confront society again with a new reality. The second project I'm working on right now is a fruit of an ongoing working relationship with Yael Ronen. So it's again an international work. It's bringing together German and Israeli experiences, dealing with a current crisis of democracy. We're going to try to work on the decay and the crisis of democracy we are facing right now. And we will try to catch up with developments, dangers, questions that arise with our more or less democratic societies dealing with the pandemic situation, and how this can be maybe used for saving democracy, because it is in danger, or even further keep democracy in a process of getting more and more democratic in a society, and of course in the world of theater as well. Because when I speak about different ways of working, I always think of more democratic, more cooperative, more collective ways of working, which is always, for me, the core of what it means to do theater.